these very important aspects of their desire. And over the years, we've continued to learn. We continue to see new improvements, new ideas, and new dynamics, because things are changing almost every day and every time. So please come to the chat section. Quickly, let us know where you are joining from. You can just type, not your name, not anything, just type where you are joining from so that we know the geographical, oh, good, Nigeria. I know it's Nigeria. Where specifically in Nigeria? So, oh, wow, Borakot. Wow, great. Great. Ondo, oh, great. Wow, from Germany. Wow, Benue State, good. Lagos, Abeokuta, great. Lagos, Ota, wow. Ibadan, great. Ibadan, Delta State, great. Oh, this is great. This is interesting. This is interesting. Oh, good, good. Abia State, great, great, good, good, good. So thank you, everybody. I think we are set to go now. Joshua, I can't see you yet. Are you on the call already? Hi, Joshua.
I'm here.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you. And that's a very great sacrifice on the side of Joshua. He is just touching down at the airport now on a long journey. Thank you so much for doing this again and again and again. And today, for us to quickly just move into action, the essence and the main reason why we are here is for us to share with us and share with ourselves some of the dynamics and information that will be very, very useful for us as individuals to navigate the admission terrain, especially in the United States. So, but before we go into few things, it's our culture here to have one of our leaders, a mentor, and somebody with a big heart to quickly prepare our minds before we go into few things we need to share with us. And today, Dr. James Akinola will again briefly share with us within 15 minutes. And if it is more than that, he knows I'm going to stop him. I had told him yesterday because he has so much to tell us. And but I will just plead with him. You know, when a mentee will have to moderate for a mentor, it's always a difficult task. But I had pleaded with him so that we want to really, really get feedback from our audience today and see how they can ask practical questions on those stuff that will help them navigate. So he will share with us what it takes to be a global scholar in a changing world. He will share with us briefly. So, Dr. Kela, you have the floor. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you for the privilege. Good day, everybody. I think that's the safest thing to say. Our good evening too. So, I hope you can hear me. Mr. John, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, good. Now that my hands are tied, are tied. I don't know if I need to use my slide or not. Because the slide is not a 15-minute slide, but because the focus of today's
You can use it. You can still
okay.
use it to, I know, but just help us manage the time,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So if today is mainly for people to be able to ask question, I think it's a good one. Think it's a good one. Let me just quickly share my slide and then see how far we can quickly go while trying not to uh, boycott the quality. So thank you everybody who has joined this webinar today. Um, so it's a pleasure to see you. And then the essence is to inform people, because out there are lots of um, opportunities, but most people we prefer to make this something they sell, and then we all know the economic condition of various countries, and then we think it's going to be a bigger burden on people. So ask them to pay to get this kind of opportunity. Some of us have paid in the past, but it does not mean that we have to also get money from people. So basically, I quickly want to talk about who this is for, and then I'm not going to take it in a particular order as much as we can do. So first, this webinar or this kind of opportunity is not for people who want to japa. I know that most Nigerians know what it means to japa. This kind of opportunity, we are not promoting people who really want to japa, because once you japa, in our understanding of japa, is somebody who escaped from something and it keeps running. So if you have that kind of mentality, you keep struggling, you keep running, you keep, even when you get to where you're going, you still see it as an escape. It's not an escape. Studying abroad is not an escape. It is an opportunity for you to empower yourself, one, to empower your family, two, and empower your nation. We know our politicians, they keep recycling their own people in power. So many of us cannot compete with them, except you get something that is extraordinary, that is beyond the norm. Even having a PhD may not be enough, in Nigeria of today, but once they hear that you have maybe even a mushroom university abroad, they want to listen to you. If at the end of the day, even if you don't have the stock, they want to listen. All right. So, but we are not asking us to choose universities that are mushroom here, but we are just saying that once you are leaving Nigeria and you have this mentality that you want to study abroad, please go and trash your japa mentality away. Trash it. It is not to run away from the country. You want to benefit yourself intellectually. You want to improve your life career-wise. You want to empower your family, and you want to empower your nation. Whether you like it or not, whether you are returning to Nigeria or not, you know that the kind of amount of money that Nigeria gets from dollar, pounds, and all other currencies, euro and other, it's massive. It's a kind of investment too in Nigeria. So if that is the only thing you are doing, you are benefiting the country. But beyond that, we are looking for people. We want to encourage people to see this opportunity as a lifetime opportunity to benefit people, not to keep running. If you japa, what you have done is that you say you want to study abroad. You get abroad and you are not studying. You have now left your schooling to be chasing, maybe you want to marry a woman to become a citizen, or you want to do all sorts of illegal things. That is not why we are here. We are trying to talk to people who are really ready. That is one. Number two is that we are not trying to bring people who have this user mentality, in terms of once you get it, no other person should get it. You want to block it. We know of the guy in the UK who went to say all sorts of things about Nigerian people and all that. That is not being a global scholar, So people have used a particular platform, but they don't mind. They just want to remove the ladder that no other person should be able to use it. What about the people that even that have assisted you to get to that ladder? You don't need to be praising them all around, but you also need to be mindful of how can I bring in other people by the grace of God. If we add the people that have benefited from some of this webinar, they are not less than 44 as of today, if by those people who are coming in, and that is satisfying for us between 2021, 2022, and now, and that is satisfying for us. And I know a few of them that have also brought other people that we don't even know of until we started talking. I know one of the speakers last year that has brought in 3 other people. And that is what we are talking about. If we are trying to change our country, we need to change our mentality. So that is where attitudinal change comes into place in being a global scholar or being a global citizen. And you must see this as not a competition. It is not a competition. You are not competing with me. I'm not competing with Mr. John. I'm not competing with you. You are all utilizing the available opportunity. So being a global scholar, you should have that in mind. All right. So, and then you should also have, because it's so sad that some of us who have benefited from this, are now exploiting our own people. I think I mentioned that when I started this. They are now exploiting our own people. I see one lady who benefited from some of our webinar, and I said it in the group, in the WhatsApp group. She benefited. Now she is monetizing 25,000 from each person just because you want to attend this webinar. Yes, if they are collecting 50,000 from you, it's what it is more than that because of the value. But do you actually have the money? Even if you have the money, can't you use the money for something else while you benefit from this knowledge? So on that note, I want us to really, really take this more seriously, and then have it in our mind that, one, I am not Japa. What I want to do is I want to relocate abroad for a purpose, study. And if once I finish study or in the process of study, I'm benefiting myself intellectually, academically, career-wise, I'm benefiting my family, and I'm benefiting my nation. Can somebody just mute that person, please? So that's one. Secondly, user mentality. Please don't let us destroy the ladder that we are trying to use. That is not even enough. When you finish using the ladder, keep polishing it, support the ladder, let other people be able to use it. We are not in competition. Let's have attitudinal change. And because you have received freely, I want to plead to us that I'm sure that from this talk today, many people are going to be successful, once we make use of some of these things. So I think I've spent about 5 or 6 minutes. I have a lot to say, but that is basically about being a global citizen. Now I'm going to run us through a few things that we usually do. So wherever they stop me, that I stop. If the time permits me, we'll continue from there, and then we'll take other people and take question and answer. So now I want to talk about scholarship opportunities abroad. Studying in the United States can be a dream, but many of us think it is impossible because we think about the cost. We think about the money. Oh, where do I get the money? And truly speaking, dear brothers and sisters, it's getting more expensive. Even to apply for visa now, you pay in the exchange rate. I think it's almost somebody paid 3. It's not stable. Somebody paid 330 the other day. It's 290 something. It keeps changing. Just imagine one person. You pay for service fee. All these things, they are expensive. What about the application fee? There are many universities that were not taking application fee before, but they are now taking application fee because of the attitude of some of us. We bastardize it. We go and say, if you want to jackpot to the US, these are the schools you should apply. You don't even have to pay for application fee. Go, 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 go. And those people hear that, they see that, and they block that opportunity because they don't want to be blackmailed. So that is one of those things I spoke about earlier, about people who use the ladder and they are destroying it. However, despite all this money that you think about, paying for the school fees in many schools, depending on what you apply for, there are many numerous scholarship and grants, financial aid that you can use to ease the burden, the financial burden of your academic journey, and that will make it accessible. Now, I will quickly talk about some of the belief system of some people, and then say the actual thing that actually exists. For instance, people believe that scholarships are only available for top performing students. Yes, it is true, but it is not absolutely true. It is true, but it is not absolutely correct. If you have a 2-1, you can get a scholarship. If you have a 2-2, you can get a scholarship. There are instances where third class and even HND students have got fully funded opportunity to study in the United States. You know, our focus mainly is about the United States because that's where many of us are, and that's where we know so much about. All right. So truly, there are some merit-based one targeting high achieving students, but there are different things based on your talent, your background, your interests, and your accomplishment. So don't limit yourself. Another thing you should also know about this scholarship and financial aid is that some people say that it's a waste of time because I will not even succeed. No, that is not true. Of course, it is highly competitive, but there are many scholarship with more manageable application pools. So it depends on the kind of effort you put into it in terms of uh, opportunities that are available to you. So this is where many of us also get it wrong. Some of us are only waiting. Oh, please send me application, send me where I can apply for scholarship. No, don't wait for that. Go online, search schools in a particular state or search top schools or schools in any state, whether you use top or you don't use top. Just search the name of universities. You will see a lot of them. Once you see the one that is offering your course, please reach out to them. You can send you when you check the page, you see the names of the graduate director, the graduate program director, or as they may call it in different schools. So you will always see their email there because they are public officers. So you can send an email to them, ask about the program, and you even see some university website, they will put what they offer. If they tell you that they support you, that you are supported, that is what we call scholarship in Nigeria and some other part. They say fully funded, not funded. So many of us are looking for the word scholarship. You will never see my school, for example, advertised, except you see a professor who needs a particular skill set of students, and say, okay, skill driven set of students rather. And he said, okay, I need this one. Then he advertises. There are some that will advertise because of the kind of grant they get and says that they must advertise. So stop looking for advertised scholarship. Get into action. Go into those university website and look at what they offer depending on your department. If you don't get enough information, email the graduate director. Those ones, they will always respond. It is their work to respond. Okay, now there is another one that you need to do is that, like I mentioned, you check up the university website and all these things, and then you can ask your network and all that. And some of us are now in different WhatsApp group that can help us to do all that. So there are different types of scholarship that my time will not allow us to talk about. They are not so as important as you finding those opportunities and seeing it then. But the most common is the 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 general one, graduate um, research assistant, graduate teaching instructor, teaching assistant, whatever they may call it. The scholarship is in exchange for the work you are going to be doing. So don't be afraid to apply. But you have to do your diligence to know whether you are going to get it. Now, these are some of the scholarship financial aid portals that you may make use of, but I am not so much encouraging them over the fact that you should go to those university websites, check them, and then you can decide what you want to do with each of them. Now, before, I'm so happy that they've not stopped me yet, so thanks for winning scholarship and funding opportunity. Now is the time to start. Now, application has not started now for those that will be resuming in August of next year. But the preparation begins now. If you're applying to a school that requires TOEFL, this is the time to know. If you are applying to a school that requires GRE, graduate record exam, this is the time to know and begin. So you want to go on those websites, check the eligibility criteria, apply for those ones that you believe you meet, and then emphasize on your strength and your achievement. And you should know that you are competing with so many other people, and you have to convince the selecting committee why you have to be the one they are giving admission instead of the other people, and so on and so forth. All right. So, like I said earlier, I said that you don't have to be a top student to gain admission to the US, but it is also important that once you also want to show that you maintain high grades, even if your previous performance is not as high as it is. Because in some schools, so for example, in my university, Michigan Tech University, they give you the opportunity, if you don't have a very high grade, they give you the opportunity to indirectly explain why you did not have a high grade. Because the way they coined the expression, you wouldn't know that that was what they are asking. So, like your strength, something that you have done in the past, and something you have maybe that's a kind of weakness that you had. So you want to bring up those things, you know. But now, I also want to warn us that please don't try to apply to just a single school and say, God, I give it to you. There are some of us, even in the past, who have applied to just a school and they got it. When I applied, I think I applied to only two. Yeah, I got it too, but it's this one I chose, you know. So because I wasn't so deep into it. I didn't have this kind of information. So I just applied to two schools. I paid for one, I didn't pay for this one. The one I paid for, I didn't take it eventually. So and again, pay close attention to application requirements and ensure that all your documents are correctly submitted. Mr. John, how many minutes do I have?
One.
So,
But you are even done.
okay, okay. So being a
Conclude.
global citizen, which is the essence, it requires a lot of preparation. It requires a lot of deliberate effort. It requires a lot of determination, and it requires also a lot of self-belief that you can make it. You deserve it. You can make it, and most importantly, it requires God. God, God factor in everything. We are children of God. I don't know you about some others, but I am a child of God, and all that I have achieved today, it is through the help of God, you know, and the support of human being, you know, here and there. So on that note, I want to thank you for listening. But I'm here. I think we still have a kind of a breakout room later on where we'll be able to answer personalized questions. So thank you for your attention. God bless you.
Can we clap for Dr. Akinola, please? Your digital clap, great. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. That was a great one. And before we move to the next item, because we want to try and do everything very fast so that we get feedback from us, you know. Every year, I always say this, and I will continue to say it. We are 39 on this call now, by what I can see. Please and please, brothers and sisters, be careful who you hate. Be careful who you dislike. Probably based on what people told you about them. The wisdom of God says that you've got to confirm everything very, very well and hold on to that which is good. Anybody can come around, tell you different stories about people. If you take it to head and take it to heart, you may be missing your access road to the breakthrough you are praying for. I always say this every time. One of the good things on this academic journey that happened to me is meeting this man, Dr. Akinola. And where I knew him, I would have misbehaved based on the information people were saying about him. And today, God is using him, even after my arrival in the United States, to connect me with different, up to last week, Dr. Akinola? Yeah, up to last week, I will be going for a conference in Washington next month, courtesy the information he gave me. I knew nothing about that thing. I knew nothing. So please, it is not just about what you hear. We are Christians, and that's where I'm bringing this. Be careful, because you will not even know what other people will do behind you to make up with those people whom they have destroyed before you. God can answer our prayers in diverse ways. And please, let's take to that. God will help us. Thank you so much, Dr. Akinola. That was a powerful one. And I just want to briefly, because the question will be, oh, studying abroad. How do I go about it, Gan? How? You know, it was so funny. The day Dr. Akinola got his admission, it was so funny. You know, he was to come to the United States before then. I was in the US in 2019, and he was to come in 2020. Yeah. And COVID came, lockdown everywhere. In fact, as at the time COVID was on, I thought he had been locked in the US. Then he said, no, you couldn't go. Why am I saying this? When this admission came, and he just came to my office, he said, Adebayo, come. And I went. And he told me to sit on his chair, which I did. There were some students there, and the students were disturbing, so I left. Again, he came to my office. He said, come. I asked you to sit on my computer. I said, yes, I sat on your chair. He said, didn't you read my email? I said, see, my area of research is ethics. I don't peep into what I am not given access to. Then he looked at me. He said, okay, read this email. Oh my goodness. When I read the email, I screamed. And I had to drive the students that were there. I drove them out. Guess what? It was an email of a fully funded PhD in the United States. The same information I've been looking for. And that was the genesis of my own breakthrough. Now, he knows me, he knew that my reaction to such a good news would be different. But he saw another reaction, and he knew that I didn't read the email. I was so happy, and that was how the journey started. Then he said, you too can do the same. I said, how? I knew this thing exists, but I didn't know how just to go about, how to get the information, how to do this. And that is how the journey started. So what you see today, that we're doing today, that was how the journey started. He was the first person, at least among our colleagues and elder brothers and senior colleagues in the university, that got it. You know, then I asked him, how do I go about this thing? So one thing I want you to know, that it's almost a journey of 1 year. It will take you almost a year between the time of your preparation, application, admission, visa, and your arrival in the United States. I hope we are following. Now,
yes, sir.
Oh, good. It will take almost 1 year. Then he told me, I remember that day he told me, okay, this is what you need to do this is where to start. I said, my goodness. That same day, I sent emails to about 4 professors that day. It was on a Friday, I guess, and by Monday, I went to show him. He said, Mr. John, he said, I have no doubt you are going to the United States next year. So he's one man that believes so much in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. So how do we go about it? Can you all see my slide, please? Okay. This may not be a comprehensive step-by-step, but there are just certain things you need to know. How to start your graduate school application as an international student. Now, I will recommend, and he mentioned it, as we are all here now today. Oh, somebody is raising up his or her hand. How come? Etido Etefia.
It may be a mistake. Peter Offo, is it questions?
Yes, hello. Good evening from Nigeria.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to educate us. So I was going to ask, please, these slides, can you share it with us?
We are recording this on
Yeah.
YouTube. They will release the link to you towards the end of the program so you can access everything again.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You can put down your hand, please. Etido, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that name correctly.
Maybe he forgot. Let me help him to raise down his hand so that he won't be paining
him. Thank you. Then I can see some of us here. You are not using your name. This is a professional, an academic activity. Please kindly just change Galaxy, Covey, Infinix S5 Lite, Infinix Smart, and all those stuff. Please just Techno, POP5, Zoom.
And how to do that? Just click on participant.
Yeah.
So if you see participant on your screen, you will see all the participants. Click on your own name, and then you will see the 3 dots.
Yeah.
And that 3 dots, when you click it, it will show you rename. So you can rename your stuff there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the reason why we are exactly 38 participants right now, and now imagine if all of us will move into action, do what we need to do, pursue this thing, even if our first point of call will be our immediate families, say our siblings, we are reproducing generational change. So it is not enough for us to hear all this. Please, let's move to action and do what we are sharing with us. So the first thing I will always recommend is your own area of interest. You've got to identify it. What is my area? If, for instance, I read library and information studies or information science in Nigeria, if you want to go for your master's or your PhD, especially PhD, it is no longer a general thing. In fact, you are specializing in a specific thing. So you have to pinpoint your academic career goal. What do I want to do? What is it that I have passion for? That will direct you to know how to identify your interest. Because in the United States, see, academic work in the United States is different from our multipurpose in Nigeria. If a professor tells you, this is what I do, that is probably what he or she will do for the rest of his or her life. And when you bring in another dimension, the person will tell you, oh, I'm not a specialist in that. I am not an authority. So, because there is a way all these things connect with what our other panelists will share with you by the time you are writing your SOP, your writing sample, and other things. So, identify your interest. Now, yesterday we were discussing this with Dr. Kiola about evaluating or ranking universities. All universities in the United States are good. I tell you, even community colleges, what we call, I don't even know what we can use to represent community college in Nigerian context. Because what they call community colleges, if you get there, the kind of facilities that you will see there, they are superb. So, but ranking is in this way. It's just like in Nigeria, when we say University of Ibadan, or I don't want to mention any university, not to look down on any university, but we know that even in Nigeria, there are some results. If you have that result in JAMB, you can't enter UI. If you score less than 200, you just know it. You cannot enter UI. And meanwhile, some schools will tell you that even with your 170, we can still take you. So that is it. Now, ranking the university is not to look down on you. Dr. Kila was saying it the other time, but it's just to say, hey, I think my chances will be more higher in other universities. Because the same way UI ranks results, say JAMB, O-level, That's the same way they do admission process here too. So by the time they do the overall scoring, that's why some people will not get admission and some people will have, because some people will have more than the limit, more than the specified stuff, you know. So you want to do your ranking. If you are applying to 3 schools, you may engage wisdom. Say, hey, like Dr. Akela told me that time, that you may say, okay, I pick one topmost, one middle, and one lower. And there are different ways by which they rate schools in the United States. There is institutional rating, there is program rating. I will advise that go for program rating because that is what is peculiar to you. By the time they are considering certain things after you graduate, the program rating may not really, like in my school now, my program in the United States is maybe number 5 or 6. And my school is now on number 5 in the United States. I hope you get. So you may want to do that as well. Another factor that you may want to consider is the availability of the faculty members. We've seen cases where some people apply to schools where there are no faculty members in that area of research interest. And that's why he was saying the other time that reach out to the school directly. There is always somebody assigned for that purpose. Reach out to them, ask your questions. They are always responding. They will reply to you. So why am I saying all these things? Number one step that you will take is to look for school that you want to attend and your own research area. So you are looking for schools that match your research area. So number 2 now, the application process is usually from you getting your transcripts. There are some schools that will tell you that you need to do test scores. If your grade is very, very low, doing tests, these exams like GRE, IELTS, or TOEFL may not be a bad idea, especially GRE, may not be a bad idea because it boosts your chances of getting admitted. And like I always say, it depends on your school. Those of us that attended private university here may not understand the headache we go through to get transcripts in Nigerian public universities. So you may not understand, but if you attended a public university, please, by now you ought to have gotten your transcript, especially if you attended my university. I am marketing my university. So, Dr. Akela, you were saying something.
I was saying at least student copy.
Yeah, student copy. That's what you need. Just get one student copy and it will help you because if you are applying to 2 or more schools, you can use that same student copy to do that. And your personal statement, somebody will talk to us about it, and your recommendations. I won't go into that area because there is another great scholar. And that's why collaboration versus competition. The doctor that will be talking to us about personal statement and recommendation today, I got to know him through Dr. Akela. And the first time I met him was in Milwaukee here. Collaboration. Here he is today sharing with us in a very short while. Then you need to know, sir and ma, the application timelines differ in the US. As we are speaking now, for most programs, there is this popular university in Illinois, University of at Urbana-Champaign. The admission has started already. And the deadline for priority deadline, there's something they call priority deadline. Priority deadline is the deadline for those people that are looking for funding. The priority deadline in that school will be probably like either September or October. I tell you. So you want to be sure of the timelines, the deadlines in that school that you are applying to. Application deadline is not the same thing as priority deadline. Priority deadline is for funding. That means if you do not submit your application on that date, you won't be considered for funding. no matter how much you pray, is gone. You see, Oyibo people, their life is quite different. Even the Christian among them, they don't joke with the principles that they have set. And nothing will change it. And that's why we're sharing it. So you want to be sure of the priority, of the timelines, the deadlines, please. And let me also, I've talked about the language. And you see, again, about impact. Somebody rose up in these United States and started advocating to universities that Nigeria must be exempted from people that will be writing TOEFL, IELTS, and the likes. That if Ghana could be exempted, then Nigeria too is an English-speaking country. And I tell you, except otherwise stated, many universities do not require language proficiency tests any longer, especially from Nigerians. Now, but if you still feel like you want to do that, say IELTS or something, well, you may do it to boost your chance. But in most schools, all you need to do is to get your letter of English proficiency from your university. And that would be okay. So I have talked about your academic transcript and credential evaluation. Yeah, maybe later Dr. Kela will have to talk about this because some schools may ask that you evaluate your credentials. And that is where WES, they call it WES, W-E-S, comes to play a major role. If you have a question about that, you can ask later. But usually, your transcript, once it is written in English, should be okay. Another thing that you will need on this journey is recommendation letters. And Dr. Adegbero will be doing justice to that. You know something? Last time when I was doing admission and Dr. Aguilar just told me, send me your recommendation letter, and I did. He said, you will never get admission. And he sent me a sample. Like, when I read the one he sent to me, I said to him, if I were on the panel to make admission decision, I will not give myself admission because of what I wrote and what you sent to me. And these are some of the secrets. You know why? On this journey, the people that want to spend thousands of dollars on you every year, my funding is nothing less than, my funding is around 45,000 USD every year, including my tuition and my graduate TA offer. More than 42,000. Where will I get such a money? You know, so they want to know, they don't know you, they have never seen you. This is the connection between these three documents. Your CV tells us you are the one saying, this is who I am. And that's why Joshua will be talking to us about that in a very short while. Who are you? It is what you call yourself that we will see on your CV. The next one will be your personal statement. This is what I want to do, which must have a connection with your CV. The third thing is your transcript, which is an academic testament of where you are coming from and what you have attained academically. And the last one, brother and sister, is the recommendation letter. The recommendation letters is another colleague of theirs that they have never seen, testifying to what you have said in your other document. So it carries a lot of weight, and you don't want to joke with it. Who write it for you, what they say about you, how they say it, it matters a lot. So the personal statement is another thing that you will need on this journey. And I will want to stop here and say, okay, let me conclude with this. Your application submission, please organize your materials very well. In the United States here, we are learning another lessons, immigration-wise. Our chief consultant is here too. That how lack of proper organization of documents can make people to spend days, if not months, Dr. Akiola, on a spot. on different immigration process. The same thing with admission. You may have good document. Please, if they tell you, name your file in a particular pattern, please name it. Oh. If they tell you, this is what you should do, please do it. You know why? They are checklists. As those, you can imagine how many people are applying to different universities all over the world. So you may be brilliant if you don't follow instruction, brothers and sisters. You see, these are unbelievers, know these things we're talking about, and they follow it very well. So if they tell you, this is what you should do, please do. And double check before you submit. Double check. Share your SOP, personal statement with people. Let them read. Let them look at your CV. It is wisdom. And I know on this journey, God would help us. So the next person you can just be taking note of your questions. We will take them very soon. And I will bring on board now Joshua Nkechukwu. Well, Joshua is my boy. I can say that anytime. But he's more troublesome than myself. Joshua is my boy. We were together in Ibadan, in Agbowo, and I'm just happy for that guy. Each time I saw him and the exploit he's making in the United States, I am just happy. Maybe before I bring Joshua on board, if your idea of coming to the United States is to come and make money overnight, please stay in Nigeria. Please stay in Nigeria.
You'll make it better in Nigeria, honestly.
Yeah. You just want to come and make money overnight. They said there is money. Now, if you want to say your major intention is as you are studying, you want to be working, like do 3-4 works, please go to the UK. And I'm serious. Go to the UK. It's not like that in the US. Academic wahala in Nigeria, if you don't get mind, and even by the time you come, sometimes it may look as if your stipend is not even enough. Maybe Joshua will be sharing some of his experiences. It was tough. So that's why we are saying it's all about purpose. So Joshua graduated from the University of Ibadan and from the Faculty of Arts theater arts, sorry. And he majors in dance. And I'm happy talking about him because nobody would have thought that majoring in dance can bring you to the United States to come and study. And Joshua is doing great in African dance in the United States. He is a founder and CEO of Meije Dance Company. The company he founded in Nigeria. I have attended some of his shows, very creative and innovative. And God is helping him. In the United States here, Joshua is a city boy. He lives in Buffalo, in New York. But today, he will be speaking with us from Boston. So he arrived in Boston not too long ago. And it's a lot of sacrifice on his side. Joshua will be talking to us about your writing sample and your CV. Joshua, go ahead. Thank you, brother.
Please speak to us from Boston, but don't post to us.
Very good rhymes, Dr. Akiola. Okay, I hope I can stay without the video.
You can't. You can't.
Jesus is Lord.
Yeah, he is. You can't.
Okay, let me.
So while Joshua is preparing, do we have any questions from the first 2 sessions we've had? I hope we are not wasting your time. Any question? If you have any question, you can just unmute yourself and go ahead. Oh, no question?
I have a question.
Yeah, Afolabi Daniel, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Sir, my question is it true that early submission of an application, even while the deadline is still on, has higher priority than those who probably submit later, even during the before the deadline. I mean, like maybe the deadline is August now. Someone submits an application today, and then maybe the other person submits next week. Is it true that the person that submits to this stands a higher chance of being admitted than the person that submits?
Dr. Akeola?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Well, since everything is based on evidence, I would say we don't have very clear evidence about that. But logically, I think it can be true. I use the word it can be true in the sense that these people that you are submitting your application to, as you are submitting, they are bringing them together, checking the preliminary stuff, sorting them. So sometimes when you submit, they probably glance through your application and they get interest and they mark it, something to look at, and until the time they have their meeting to look at them together. But in my department, I am aware because I have worked with my department a section that does application before, so I know that they take the application in batches. So if you submit early, all right, you can go with the first batch. And if they want to, for example, this year they have only 11 people. When we came in, they had only me first. Then later on, one of their own students backed out, so they took another person. So we were through, So, but I submitted very early because I submitted first, and then they didn't give me funding because I submitted for the what's it called, the spring admission, so I couldn't get funding. So I reapplied again very early for fall, and then my admission came very early. So my colleague that they both gave admission, when we were talking, his own admission did not come until around March, April, even May, towards the end of May. That was when he got to admission. But because so that would be a kind of evidence that okay, I submitted early, I got my admission early, and then so that might be considered later. So what is if I don't have anything that is delaying me from submitting? I'll submit my admission early so that I can be considered before they start paying attention on some other people. Because first impression, like we know, lasts longer. So if they see your application, it might even be a standard for others. So I think it might be true, but it may not also be true. And it may also depend on the schools. But whether it's true or not, I encourage you to submit your admission early.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Akeola. I think we got a notice that, Dr. Akeola, maybe you try and check the volume from your hand. Please, can everybody hear us very clearly, please?
Oh, yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh, good.
Did you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, did you hear me clearly? Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Maybe you should turn on the volume of your set, whether your phone or whatever you are using. I think I'm outside and I'm shouting enough.
Okay. So Joshua.
Uncle John, you are muted.
Okay. Yeah, this is me.
I can't even hear anybody again.
Good evening, everybody, and good afternoon from here. My name is Joshua Ikechukwu Chinedu. So today I've been given the opportunity to talk about areas of admission process that I wouldn't be caught talking about, because for someone like me, I hate writing. I don't like it. And I hate preparing my CV. I don't like it too. But I'll go through the processes of how I did mine, and also experiences from my professors. One good thing about the US is the fact that, based on my experience in my own school, they don't expect you to be 100% right in everything you're writing. And that's more reason why when you come into the school, you still undergo a particular English-based test, which I did. you still undergo a CV preparation class, which was done for me. You get, so it's not about how talented or skilled you are in writing. It's about how you can actually communicate your yourself, your intentions in everything you're writing down. So first of all, I'll start with the academic CV. I'll start with the academic CV. One thing
You go get dressed. You be late for school. Don't worry.
sorry, somebody. Yeah, one thing I would say about the academic CV was what my favorite professor told me here in Buffalo. She said, Joshua, no academic CV is perfect, and no academic CV is constant. You keep changing and adjusting and adjusting. And I was in confusion when she first told me. Then she took me to her office and she opened her laptop for me. And I saw different CV for different cases. I'm talking about someone that has danced all her life, more than 30 years in dance. And I saw so many CVs on a laptop for different applications, recipient of different grants and all, with so many CVs. So one thing I'll first of all talk about is when you're writing your CV, know your audience. When I say know your audience, I mean the school you're writing for. What do you think they expect to see? That's why research is very, very important. You don't just write CV and just submit it like that. Go to the website, departmental website. Read what they are looking for. Every department wants a student that will be of substantial value to them. So go read their objective, read their goals, read what this department stands for. Read what the department is lacking. Because during my own time, of course, a candidate coming from Africa, in Nigeria, I got to discover that most of the African dances in the US are basically from the Congo, the Guinea. You get, not much has been done from the West African part, which put me in a very greater advantage. You understand? And which the department was actually looking for, because my department in Buffalo, me coming to the Department of Theater and Dance, made it the first ever dance student bringing in an African-oriented dance into the department. You get? So the place of research is very, very important in writing your CV. So know your audience. Know what your audience wants to see in the CV. First things first. Then, after you know your audience, next thing you're supposed to do is, of course, writing the CV from the very top. I'm seeing somebody that played a very major role in my CV writing. He was my Sunday school teacher back in El Shaddai Baptist Church. I would be ungrateful if I don't say this. I wrote my first CV and I sent it to him. And he was the one that actually corrected me. And I went back and I made an adjustment. Brother, Jesus, it's Pramuyiwa. Yeah, it was my Sunday school teacher. Yes. That being said, so your contact information first, your email address, your name, your phone number, your address, your LinkedIn, any professional website that you are in, make sure it is inscribed in the CV. The professional website, your professional email. Sometimes, like what Brad John was talking about, we're using our other names for a particular professional platform. It's very, very important we use our names when we are writing, when we are creating our Gmail or Yahoo account. So have your name, your surname, followed by your name. That's for your email address, so that it is very easy for the panel of admission people to understand that this is this particular person. So your contact information is very important. Then your personal profile. Who are you? In a very short sentence, your personal profile. What do you represent? What do you stand for? What are you going for? Then 3, your educational history, right from your educational institution, where you want to become relevant in the CV, those relevant institutions that you want to put. It's not compulsory you put everything, but the ones that you feel are catchy enough, you have to put it in the CV, your educational history, then your professional appointment. What are those things in your field that you've done that are professional that needs to be there? See, nothing is too small to be in your CV and nothing is too big to be in your CV. So you know, with the research you've made in the school, what to put in the CV. Nobody can tell you what to put. All those things that you feel can actually boost your CV should be included. Do not look down on some minute information, which might be very important in your CV. So it's there for you to filter, and adjust to make it a whole. And the next thing is your institution, department, your title, employment, your duties, where you've worked, your position you've held in those institutions. And of course, you are going for an academic program. So you should be considering things that you've done under the academic line. Have you been a teaching assistant before in a school? Have you carried out some projects before? Have you been in a professional developmental program before? Have you done some research with some couple of people before? So all these things are very, very important in the CV. Your teaching experience, your publications. For me as a dancer and a choreographer, basically my publications would be performances that I've done, performances that I've been commissioned to do, or some other written publications I've done in some magazines or some academic publications. So it depends on your department. Your department requires you to publish something. Where have you done it? What magazines have you published? So those links and everything should be in your CV. That are very important in the admission that you're actually going for. Then grants and fellowship. How many grants have you received? Fellowships have you gone to? How many fellowships have you received? Conferences that you've gone to. All these things are very, very important. They are very important. So you have to put it in the CV. Then after that, your awards and honors. Have you been a recipient of how many awards? No matter how small it is, from your department, from organization that you belong to, that actually throws light on the academic pursuits that you are going for in the school. If it's relevant, just put it in there. Then invited talks. Have you been invited to a particular place to give a speech, to give a discussion, to be like a host in a panelist or in a conference, or put it there. Very important. Just put it there. Then after the conference, then your research experience. How experienced are you in this given field? They actually want to know. Of course, they believe everybody is not nobody is all I say now. A bag full of all the whole knowledge, but they want to see some signs that you've been in line with your career path. Take for example, for me, I finished school in 2016, 2015, I served 2016. And after that, I knew that, because I was telling myself earlier on that I never wanted to do masters in Nigeria because I felt my department has given me all I needed to know. And my own interest was to do masters outside the country. So, but I knew that when day will come and I will need my experiences. So I never left my field, which was dance, choreography, entertainment, and all. So I was teaching in some schools. creating pieces. I was also creating my own pieces in the University of Ibadan, theater department, staging my shows and all. And all these steps, little steps I was making was in line with the common goal. If I was going to apply for a master's or a PhD program outside the country. So anything you're doing now should be a pointer to the fact that, okay, there's a particular place I'm going to. If you want to go for a PhD program, so what are the steps you are putting in line? In case there's a need for you to write your CV, these things are very, very important to list it out in your CV so that I can actually beef up your application. So writing the CV is a very tricky, simple way. There are so many trajectories to it. There are so many in and out of it. Like I said, when I first started, there is no CV that you can say that is totally rubbish. No. In all the rubbish you write, there's still some iota of sense in everything. When I was doing my own, I was very new to writing a CV. Like I said, it was my Sunday school teacher in Eshada Baptist Church that actually proofread my CV, made the adjustment for me, turned it back to me. I added a little that I could add before I then submitted it. So we have to keep adjusting it, keep writing it, keep plastering and making up for everything so that at the end of it, it becomes something we can actually submit. So CV is very important. It shows you in a very nutshell, shows what you have been into throughout the couple of years, shows your professional background, shows how you as a particular individual has been well equipped for the next step that you're planning to reach. And like I said, there's nothing too small to put in the CV, and there's nothing too big to put in the CV. If I tell you how many pages my professor's CV was going to, it was a very long page, you get. But there are some things that we take into considerations when you're putting out your CV for a graduate application. You don't want it to be too long. You want it to be short. Just keep it short and simple, precise, to the point. Just keep it to the point so that people that are reviewing your CV will know that, okay, this is what this guy has done. This is what is research interest. This is what he's going for. These are his aims and his objectives. You get. So that is that. Quickly to writing sample. Yes, I so much love, despite the fact that I don't like writing. I love writing samples because it is in these writing samples you are able to express yourself, tell the panel what you have done, what you are made of, what you can bring into the department itself. So these writing samples is just a way of you telling them that, okay, I'm a very good candidate for you. These are my experience thus far. This is how my experience will be beneficial in your department. So I said solid writing skills. How well do you introduce yourself? Introduction is very, very important in writing sample. How do you start? How do you bring this subject matter onto them? How do you introduce yourself as someone that is going for a particular position? How do you want the panelists to read you as a person? Then secondly, organization and clarity. You must be able to organize your writing sample from the introduction to the body, from the introduction to the body, down to the conclusion. How do you organize it? And when you're organizing it, there should be a logical flow to the ideas presented. There should be, it is not just you just come ramble, and then the full stop. No. From each paragraph to the second paragraph to the third paragraph, there should be, when you're reading it, there should be a flow. Like each paragraph doing justice to a particular subject that you're putting up. So if you are talking about your introduction in the first paragraph, introduce yourself. Let this first paragraph lead to the second paragraph in a very seamless manner. So you have a logical flow of all the ideas you are putting up to the panel. So, and if I would advise anybody, I feel each paragraph should not be more than 10 slides. Be very, very apt in your reasoning. Be very, very straight to the point. Tell them what your experience have been thus far. Tell them what you are capable of doing thus far, and tell them how your experience, how your achievement thus far can be beneficial to the department. You get, and then, like I said in the CV, there's nothing too small and there's nothing too big to put in the writing samples. Take, for example, my writing samples that I submitted for my department was an offshoot of my project in my 400 level back in University of Ibadan. You get, so I took my project. I'm like, and don't let anybody deceive you. You can submit your project as a writing sample. All you need is just to proofread it, make it suit the purpose at which you are going for, the course at which you are going for. And you cannot write a writing sample on a particular subject that you are not used to. Now, it's not going to work. I don't think it's going to work for me. So be skilled, be experienced in that area of your graduate study for you to be able to write a good writing sample for it. Me, I wrote a writing sample based on my 400 level thesis in University of Ibadan. I had to bring it down, dissect it, rearrange it, put in some new ideas from my experience thus far in the 7 years I've been out of school before applying, match it up together. Then I linked it with the objective and the goals of the department. You get, so these people are not trying to sometimes they are not looking for a ready-made product. They're looking for someone that will add value to the department. Why I say that is the fact that when I went for my visa interview and then the VO was like, so where are you going to? I said Buffalo. And she said,
who is VO?
Just like the panel, when you get to the
who is VO?
The visa, what they call it now? Yeah, visa officer, sorry.
I just wanted you to explain
the visa officer in Abuja. So when I was in front of her, she said, why are you going to the United States? I said, for my master's, my MFA program. And she said, dance? I said, yes. She said, dance? I said, yes. It was kind of strange to her because she was like, what do you have? Like, waiting, why did they give you scholarship? Like, what is a Nigerian coming to teach in the United States? What kind of dance do you want to teach? So for you to add value to a department, they must know that you qualify for it. So what should be in your writing skills is areas at which you are adding value to the department. Because anybody can be anything. What you have can be something that is already existing in the department. But what's that unique factor that is picking you out from the crowd? So I feel one has to research about it, dig deep into yourself, and say, okay, this is what it is. When I was going to the university at Buffalo, I knew that after the time that I got the admission, there had been no African dance students in the department. So and there had been no ballroom dance. These are the areas that I was good in. I teach Latin American dance. I teach ballroom. You get? I teach Afro pop and hip hop. So I knew that all these my areas were something that the department was lacking, and I was just trying to capitalize on it. So you have to do research. Is very important. Go to the department, see what the department is lacking, see how you as an individual is advantageous to them, and push those things out in your writing skills. So firstly, have a solid skill of writing. Please check for grammatical errors. Coming to the US, we are colonized by the British. I've suffered this a lot. My first year, I could tell you that when I write, my professor says, Joshua, you're writing rubbish. What is the meaning of this? They don't know that our English is different from theirs. So there are some different grammatical errors I faced. I was a victim of so many. So I had to start going back to see the American way American way of spelling and writing and all those stuff. You understand? So make sure you research, and all these things come down in research. Don't take research for granted. It's very, very important. So have a good writing skills. Your introduction should be great. Organize it and make it clear. Let it be very, very easy to read and simulate. Then critical thinking. How do you channel? How do you connect the dots in this writing sample? How do you connect it? So you should be able to connect it so that anybody that's reading it should understand that, okay, this is where this guy is coming from. This is where this dude is coming from. This is what he's coming to do. This is what he's coming to. This is the value he's coming to put in the school. And the last thing that most of Nigerians, we don't take into consideration is consistent citation and referencing. It is very, very important, my brothers and sisters. In the US, citation is very important. Referencing is very important. In my school, is a research institute. And once you make a statement and it's not backed with reference or facts, you're in for trouble. This is what I've understood over time. So if you are making a statement and you know it from someone that the statement is from, you must cite it. Be consistent in your citation. Be consistent in your references. So once you can get all these things done, I feel we are good and up and running. So as a point of recapitulation, solid writing skills, build your writing skills. Now, one thing I understand is that nobody can write this thing for you.
Yeah.
Nobody can. It's not possible. The earlier you start developing it, the better. Nobody can write it for you. They can only proofread. But the main idea has to come from me. I wonder how people do it. For me, it has never worked, and it will never work. I don't even pray to work for me because I want to write everything myself.
Yeah.
You get solid writing skills, organize it, make it clear, straight to the point, clearly to understand, identify. Then critical thinking, connect your dots very well. Be very, very good and able to connect all the dots from first paragraph, second paragraph, connect the dots very well. Then consistent citation. Please, and please, reference, do the citations, and I guess we'll be up and running. So that is that on my end. EV and then writing sample. So I'll be there to answer any question, and maybe I might not be available to answer it because I'm going out to perform. I'm sorry.
I know.
My performance is in the next 1 hour. I'm in the next 3 hours. I need to prepare. But I have August there, Dr. Akinola, and they will do justice to any question that is coming up. Thank you once again. This is my third time being on the webinar, and I'm so grateful to share my little knowledge that I've gained thus far. It's my prayer that everybody comes and experience a good working system, a good educational system. I keep on saying it's different. The gap is too long. I'm not trying to diminish anything, but the gap is too long. When you can read and understand in a very good environment, how much more? We read with candles in Nigeria. How much more coming here to read with constant light and all facilities available? It's my prayer that everybody comes crossover and, like what Dr. Akinola said, come and study and not to just jackpot and start study and see the difference. That's my prayer for everybody. Once again, my name is Joshua Ikechukwu. And if you cannot remember my name, just remember that I'm the dancer from Buffalo. Thank you.
Thank you, Joshua. Let's clap for Joshua, please. Our digital claps, and yeah, that was a great one. That was a very, very good one. And yeah, thank you, Joshua. Thank you so much. And this is just one of the commitments that we just feel like putting together. And there is another person that's supposed to join us today. He was one of our excuse me, he was one of our panelists last year, but because of the nature of his study, I couldn't reach out to him on time to book these appointments, and that's Isaac. I know some of us know him. So Isaac resumed also last year. And the good thing is, within 1 year of being in the United States, God has helped him too. Dr. Yola was sharing the other time. Isaac has been able to also duplicate himself. And 3 people are resuming at different universities from next week. And that's what we have in mind. That's what we have in mind. It's a very big community to where everybody can thrive. So that's why we are doing this. And the last presenter today is, he will be talking to us about another aspect of application in the United States, which is very, very important, If anybody is afraid of writing sample that Joshua was talking about, don't be afraid. At least everybody wrote final projects. Everybody wrote final projects in whether undergraduate, whether masters. Now, another terrible thing in contracting your work to people, whether undergraduate, whether masters, this is one of the areas where the secret is usually leaked out. And that is why it's always good to acquire that knowledge, because it will show, it will be evident. So all we need to do, as far as writing sample is concerned, is if you have published any paper, you can use it. If from your first degree, especially if somebody is coming for PhD, then you must be able to extract something from your master's project, So writing samples should not be a problem. If you are coming for master's, then you wrote a project, you did a final project, you can extract. But look at what Joshua was saying. Because you cannot submit the entire project, your writing sample, like if I'm correct, max will be between 10 to 12 pages. And in some schools, they will tell you, in fact, in most schools in the United States, their line spacing is usually double line spacing. So if they're asking you 10 pages or 10, 12, max 15 pages of double line spacing, including references, so you know that you will struggle a lot, you will do a lot to compress it and pick the important ones. So when you are making your selection, that's what Joshua was saying, that there must be cohesion in whatever you are putting together so that it will make meaning. I remember how myself and Dr. Akela had to work on one writing sample, December last year. And at the point, I just told him, I said, Dr. Akela, pick it up from there. So it can be a lot of work. And I would just encourage that all of us begin to walk along that line now. Yeah.
So there are some people raising their hands for questions.
Yes, I just want let them just note the questions, sir, so that Dr. Adegbero, so that we have enough time to take questions and answers. And if anybody wants to leave, thereafter, they can leave. But I don't want anybody to miss the aspect of, so sorry, those people raising up their hands, we soon take you now. Dr. Adegbero will also talk for max of 15 minutes now to talk to us about our statement of purpose and recommendation letters. So Dr. Adegbero is one man that I got to know him through Dr. Akeola. Dr. Adegbero looks so gentle, but he's not a gentle person. He's a troublesome scholar too. At least we've been together and I know he's not a gentle person. So he's a troublesome scholar. So I am surrounded with great people. And so Dr. Adegbero, please come on board and talk to us about recommendation letters and SOP. You have the floor, sir.
Okay, thank you. Good day, everyone. You are going to tell me your definition of gentility. I still want to know that later. Okay? Because everyone knows that I'm a very quiet person. So, good evening, class. And I really want to start by saying this, that there is something unique about these great scholars who have spoken before that they did not tell you. Okay? And one thing about them is that these are the kind of people that are never afraid to ask questions. They are never afraid to dare. So if you have someone here that is like you're afraid or you lack, this kind of belief in yourself, yes, I'm one of you. Let me be frank, because I'm someone that always doubt my own ability. I always look at myself and say, can I do this? Am I worthy of trying this? But please try to just remove that from your mind, and yeah, there's nothing is impossible. Yeah, with God. Okay. So on that note, I want to quickly walk us through this small slide because I don't want to take much of our time. And I'm someone like Dr. Akinola. We like to talk when opportunities like this present itself. So, sorry, I'm trying to share my screen so that we can just. Hello, what is happening? This thing is not going.
Dr. Akinola is coming for you. Don't worry.
Let me see why he's not able to share. Yeah, of course. What happened?
I think my system is, I don't know. Okay, let me just continue like
Can
this.
you
Then
send it to me so I can share for you?
Okay.
Just quickly send it. I don't want to.
I know he's very conscious of time. Now you tell me that the time is gone. And
no, I'm not the moderator, so you are saying. You know, they sent me packing from the platform.
Okay.
And I'm here just drinking my water.
Okay, while we are doing that, let's take the questions then. Now, Titi, you sent a question the other time. Can you go ahead and ask your question?
Hello, I'm in a new environment, so I can't ask the question right now.
Titi, you are muted.
She said she's in a very noisy environment.
So okay, I think I saw another hand.
Yeah, it's Richard Akao or Akano.
Richard Akao, please go ahead. Richard Akano.
I think it should be Akano, not Akano.
Okay, Richard Akao.
All right.
Go ahead.
Good evening. Good evening.
Network.
No. Good evening, sir.
Richard Akao, please, you can just try again. Your
yeah, I think it's better now.
Okay.
All right, sirs. Good evening, sirs. Good evening, everyone. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for putting together this great webinar. It has been enlightening so far. A special greetings to Dr. Akinola and Dr. Adigbinro. I think I know them personally, but I'm not sure they know me. I want to ask about 2 questions based on what have been discussed so far.
Can you please, I think, okay, when you are done, you please put your video. So I want to see this first. When you are done, so that it doesn't affect your quality. So go on.
All right. So you talked about institutional rating and then program rating. For me, I think that is a very, very important point. And I don't seem to get a full grasp of that. I don't know, maybe subsequently you might want to just give another brief explanation on how to go about that. And then secondly, you said we could use a published work as writing sample. I think I'm hearing that for the first time. So I want to know, can we really do that? I mean, use a work you have published for as a writing sample. So what if that work does not really hit on your proposed research that you are probably putting up in your statement of problem? What if it is not exactly in line with the area you want to go into. So can it still be used? Is it advisable to use it? That's just my question for now. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Aguilar will talk about the rating, but yeah, when you are sending your writing sample, it does not necessarily has to be in the area of your proposed and your proposed academic interest. Now, it does not. So what they're trying to test is your level of research knowledge. That you are not starting afresh. You have a prerequisite knowledge about research. Let me tell you, Sas and Ma, by the time anybody gets here, in fact, it's a place to unlearn and relearn. There are many things they do here that are quite different. But they just want to, that's why they said it is not even compulsory that it's a published work. You know, we've seen cases whereby what somebody did in first degree is not what he or she did during masters, different research areas. So don't be afraid about that one, sir. And if it is something, like in my own case, I think the writing sample I submitted was something that kind of, because I had a published work in that area before, you know. So it's not compulsory that it should be a published work. No, they are not using your work for anything. It's just for internal evaluation. I hope that is taken, sir. So,
yeah, so quickly, thank you for your question and your comment. I don't know. Can you hear me clearly?
We can.
So that I can just throw away this since I'm inside the office now. I can, but if you can hear me, I'm good. So, regarding the university rating and then the program rating, we'll come back to that. But let me quickly say something about writing sample. We have read a situation of a student whose writing sample made them revoke his funding, and then I think the person was sent away from the university. I think Marquette or something. What the person did was that the person just went online, copied somebody's published work, and they use it as the writing.
No, it was SOP.
Was it SOP? I think I've seen one.
It was SOP. The one in Marquette University.
There was a case of writing sample.
Oh.
Yeah. So the person just used another person's writing,
no.
published work, and then use it. You know, that one is clear plagiarism. But you are saying write sample. This is what I have written before. This is what I am doing presently or before. You know, it is your own, so it is okay. Although you don't write, let's say you are going for a course in IT, and you have done a course in, you have done the writing in religious study. Irrespective of the fact that, okay, it doesn't have to be the same, it doesn't have to align with where you are going to. You know, their methodologies are quite different. You don't want to do that. If, for example, I'm going for computer science and I've written something on, let's say, data analytics, you know, they are similar, but they are not exactly the same. I think what Dr. John was saying is that you don't necessarily say, okay, this is the research I want to do, and this is my right sample. You don't even know what research you are going to do in the first place. You know, when you go and ask most people that are here, very few people that are those who have what they want to do from day one, and they are able to do what they want to do. You keep changing as you get exposed to courseworks, you know, so you keep changing your mindset, you keep changing until you then get to do what you actually want to do. So your writing sample is not necessarily, this is what I want to do. It is to test, is this person trainable? Does this person have something to train? You know, they are not going to teach you, forget it. In the United States, just like most of us who did masters in Nigeria, especially you are not going to be taught like that, you know, but you are going to be, what you know is going to be facilitated, you know. so that you know more and in a new way, you know. This may be different from what we used to do in Nigeria because you do assignment every week, you do writing every week and all those things. But if you don't have a writing sample and you cannot have a writing sample, you will struggle to do that. And that is one of the reasons I think that they ask for writing sample. Can this person cope with all the every week assignment that they give you? In most universities in the US, you don't do study, then come and do 3 hours exam. No, you do every week. It's the actual continuous assessment. Every week, you want to give a feedback. You want to do presentation. You want, you know, so it's rigorous. So when people say they don't have time, you really know what they are going through. When you have like 3, 4, 5 courses out there, you have to read and give feedback in your class every week, give writing, you know. So, but if you don't have the ability to do your writing sample, you may not be able to cope with that. And I think that is why it's important. Now, back to
Dr. Akinola, wait, sorry, 1 minute. Once in 30 seconds, probably. Somebody asked from the comments section that can we use a co-authored article as a writing sample?
I will not encourage that because it's not yours. We don't know which parts you
contribution, your level of contribution and involvement.
So we will not encourage that. If you are the sole author, you can use it. But if it's co-authored, you cannot claim it's your own writing. There are many people who did not contribute a letter. So they just put their name there. So you don't want to give that impression. As much as they encourage collaboration, you don't want to start with that kind of a thing. So I would say a capital no. Personal opinion, all right? People might say, I've done that in the past and it's worked. Maybe you are not caught, but if they know, you can be in trouble for it. So for the university ranking, you know, people bother themselves about the university ranking. Hey, Harvard University, Purdue University, and all this thing. It must be the top 10 university in the world. I know a friend here who was changing university and going to a new university. In quote that the other university is highly ranked than this one. I would not bother myself about the university ranking. I would bother myself about the program rating. For example, my university is highly ranked for its technological curriculum, you know. So even those of us who are not technology, everything we are doing is related, you know. So if I'm going out, they want to expect that kind of thing in me. So if I'm going for a liberal school, which we call humanity or social sciences, you know, you want to see what's rating, but you may not necessarily bother yourself about that while you are applying. So long they are giving you admission, just come. Even if you don't now like the school, you can change school. So we are just saying this. Maybe sometimes there are some schools that may have been blackmailed, I don't know, or blacklisted rather, you know. So, and there's such school, maybe if you apply for visa to such school, maybe you may have a problem. I'm not aware of such schools, but it is possible. There was somebody, a very popular artist in Nigeria, that said she got a professorship from one of such universities. Even those of us who are here, we're saying, is it true? And when we checked, we saw that that university is a theological university, but you are a theater practitioner. So it's possible that you are teaching their religious group how to act. But if I say that I'm getting a professorship in technology in such a university, I can be doubted, you know. So those are the little things you want to look at. But basically, don't bother yourself so much about the rating, either even for the university or the program rating, because the only reason why you should bother yourself is if you are a type, like some of us, who say, I must go to Harvard, those high-standing schools. I must go to Massachusetts. I must go to, if it's not Massachusetts, I'm not going to the US. Ask yourself, if they rate you, can you stand? It doesn't mean you cannot go to such school, but if you are one of the people giving admission with what you have, do you think you can compete, you know, from outside? So we have to be realistic to ourselves. If you get here, you can go to any school based on whatever you are exposed to, but don't let that attraction be your focus. That's just it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I think we still have one hand.
Ogunbanjo.
Oh, good afternoon. Good evening, sir.
Please tell us how to pronounce your name.
Yes, Ogunbanjo.
Okay.
Hello.
Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Dr. Akinola. Good evening, Mr. John. This is Ogubanjo Babatunde. We met in Christland University years back, and I worked with Mr. John as one of my boss then. And Mr. John,
in the library,
I really appreciate. Sir?
In the library?
In the library.
Okay, yeah.
So
okay, go ahead.
Since then that Mr. John left Christland University, I've been following him, but as a mentor. But he doesn't know, because I believe that a way of having mentor is not only when you talk to the person, you can be following the lifestyle and all the parts of that person. So my first publication was, I have to go and check Mr. John publication online on the ResearchGate. And when I saw the way he published and the way he wrote some things, I have to follow the place he published the first one of the publication, and I threw my own publication over there, and it was accepted and published. So since then, I was following Mr. John, and I applied also from one of the university, and I joined this group. Somebody sent this link to me, and I joined then. And I've never regretted that I joined this group. And immediately, anytime they posted anything, I checked, I looked, and I followed up. At a time, they posted some, Mr. John posted some school, and he put application waiver on those schools. And I quickly grabbed it and I applied. One of those schools is Simeo University. Then I was doing my master's, and I tried to apply for master's because I'm still doing my master's in Nigeria. And while my result was still, after finishing my master, they delayed the result a lot of time. In fact, almost 2-3 years before the result was released. And then the school sent back to me that I should reapply. So I was like, why did they say I should reapply? I don't know. I did everything that they asked me to do over there, putting everything down. I was trying to communicate with Mr. John, but I don't know. But let me just use this opportunity to beg Mr. John, whatsoever I offended you in any area, that I'm very, very sorry. Dr. Akinola, please, you can help me to beg Mr. John to forgive me, and so that I can able to get better thing through him. So I sent so many things, and those people get back to me. And by now, I have 3.3 in my master's. So my question now is that, can I apply for PhD? The school now, Simeo University, are still sending back to me right now.
Mr. Ogunbanjo, we are going to have one breakout room for those who can wait towards the end. So you'll be able to take this personalized question so that we don't keep everybody waiting. So that will be an opportunity for you to wait till that time, sir.
Okay.
So
no problem.
Somebody asked, thank you for your explaining the situation anyway. So somebody said, I think Titi Lockman, that about the letter of recommendation, that can I start recommendation letter now, or should I wait until I've been admitted? Of course, recommendation letters are not what you need when you are admitted. They are part of the application package. So you cannot say you want to wait until you are admitted. In fact, you should begin to have people who you are likely going to use as your recommenders now, what we call referees. You should start having them now. Talk to some of them. In fact, if you are going to need 3, talk to as many as possible, 7, 8. And the person that will talk next will let us know about that. So I don't want to get so much into that. Let's take one more question, then we'll come back to other questions so that this person can present. Dr. Oswanda Rignero. Now, Afolabi Daniel, can we have you?
All right, thank you very much. I was going to ask that concerning sending code email to please, is it generally advised
You know what?
Pray on faith. Please pray on faith.
I've missed the person. So Daniel, let us wait till we get to a general question. I will encourage us to ask questions based on the presentations that have been made so that we don't just lose the flow. All right. I'm sorry if I interrupt you. So Jeremiah, let's have you quickly.
All right, sir. Good evening. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay. I just want to ask in respect to that publication you talked about. If I am the first author and someone is the second, and that area is basically in my field, can I use it, or it has to be a single authored paper as a publication sample?
I would say logically, if you have co-authored something with someone and you want to use it as a writing sample, I would advise that you rewrite your own, giving your own topic, all right? And then cite that paper that you co-authored with someone else, and then be the sole author. Don't use that co-authored paper as your writing sample. It's not your writing sample. It's a joint effort. So it's just like you are writing an exam, and then you then needed somebody to tell you the answer from the back. So it's just like that. So you should know that this is a very serious thing, and you don't want them to even look at you as somebody who has a cheating tendency. Adegbero, you want us to say something?
Yeah,
So
I wanted to add.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I wanted to add something to your explanation now on writing samples. I wanted to ask that this is not actually peculiar to those who in sciences. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you're in sciences, maybe you are trying to apply to come here to a lab or something, then if you publish someone, that might be tenable. Okay, in sciences, but mostly in arts and liberal sciences, I don't think it's advisable that you use a co-authored article for your sample. Okay, but those who are like going for like physics, chemistry stuff, most times they expect that you like publish with some others in your field. And then you just have to explain your role. I think the aspect that you took in your research and some other things, you need an explanation to show that, okay, this is what you did. And that is probably what you need also to tell in your statement of purpose. So let me quickly take the floor from there, because I'm sorry for the delay. Now, all of the things we've been discussing ties back to the statement of purpose. You see, every other document that I have submitted for this application, the only place for you to tell us what you are doing or what you have done or what you want to do is in the statement of purpose. And there is something that is very unique about America, which I want us to take note. When I got there, I wanted to open the door one day, and I was struggling with the door because I don't even understand why I have to, like, this door is not locked. I wanted to open it. Then I discovered that here in America, you have to take the knob up, not down. So America, they want to do some of their things in a way that is quite different from the rest of the world. And that is the same thing that is applicable to the statement of purpose. They have a kind of writing convention here that dictates what they are expecting from you. And most time when you don't follow this convention, they struggle to understand what you are talking about. So the statement of purpose is the one that tells your story. So, and that is why when you have this kind of story online where people will say, even if you have a third class, you have a 2-2 or anything, you can get admission in the US. Yes, that is true, but not entirely true. The reason is that some other parts of, documents in your application will have complemented those lower grades. And that is your statement of purpose. Okay, so if you have a strong application, it means that even if your grades are very low, yes, your explanation and some other things will complement it and you get your admission. So that is just to tell you that the statement of purpose is very important, and it's the one where you are going to tell your story, where you're going to tell us who you are and whatever you want to do. So, like I said, it is not possible for anyone to write for you. So if you have this kind of mindset that somebody is going to write a statement of purpose, I'm very sure you are not supposed to be here in the first instance. because it's supposed to be your own narrative, it's supposed to be your story. It's supposed to be about you. So if you have copied from somewhere, it will be very easy to detect that this is not you. So it is not about grades now. So whatever grades you have, maybe you have first class, you have third class or anything. Now, how did you present yourself matters most. And that is why you need to pay attention to this. And it's not something you write within a day or two, it's not something you write within a month as well. You take like 2-3 months to write a statement of purpose. And let me be frank here, that there are some drafts that we have had in the past. I cannot even show it to people again, that this is where we started. And and we are talking about that. I made a statement the other time that Dr. Akintola is somebody that is never afraid to ask questions. And let me be frank that yes, I'm very good in this now, but he was the origin. Okay? He's someone that is ready to make research, he will do anything to get the correct information about something. Okay? And that is where you need collaboration, just like Dr. Aribal said. When you collaborate with the right people, you get the correct information, always. So, and I'm happy that I know these guys, and I'm happy that we are associates, okay, because I learned a lot from them. So, what exactly are you supposed to do in your statement of purpose? Let me introduce myself. I'm Sunday Adigbenro, and I teach rhetoric and composition. Okay, so here they have a kind of convention about writing. They have a way of structuring their essays. And immediately they see your essay, they know whether you know what you are doing or not. Okay, most of their first year students, they take this same course. And most times we talk about technical writing, we talk about writing in general. This is the basic. Okay, so when you don't follow the correct pattern, they will know that this person is not fit for our program. And that is when we were talking about submitting earlier the other time, this is the first thing they see. Even before looking at any other, because here in America, they believe in the story that you are telling. They have this kind of benefit of doubt, that whenever you say something, it is the truth. Okay? So it is the recommendation letter will only complement whatever story you have told them here. So it is very important that this is about you. This tells your story. It's not like copying from someone else or asking someone to write your statement of purpose for you. Now, what exactly are we supposed to have? How do we structure our statement of purpose? Most universities will give you a kind of word limit. They will tell you the number of words that they want. In fact, you have some that will even limit the characters. This is where your linguistic acumen comes in. That is your ability to use words concisely, correctly, and straightforward. Okay? And I would advise that your statement of purpose should be minimum of 4 paragraphs. Okay, let me say minimum or maximum 4 paragraphs. Your statement of purpose must be 4 paragraphs. No matter how limited the number is, let it be 4 paragraphs. Now, what are we expecting in each of these paragraphs? Okay, the first paragraph introduces you to us. And this is where you want to see the difference. This is where you want to see the uniqueness of your story. That is why you build a background for whatever you want to study by telling us a story about you. And don't forget, any story you are telling links back to your ability to research or teach. Don't forget the purpose of funding. What is behind funding in America is your research ability and your teaching ability for those who are coming for GTAs. But for those of us who are applying to be a GRA, like going for a science lab, like physics and chemistry, then you focus more on your research ability. Okay, so the first paragraph tells about what you have done or what you can, your story or where you are coming from. Then the last part of that paragraph, there's something we call thesis statement here. Okay, when we are teaching our students, the first paragraph of every essay must have a thesis statement. And that thesis statement, that is exactly where we want to see what exactly are you coming to do? What exactly are you talking about in this essay? Okay, so the last part of that paragraph is the thesis statement. And that is where you tell us the specific part of the program that you want to apply. What interests you in their program? You want to see that in the first paragraph. Okay, so that first paragraph introduces you. Sometimes people will come from like their own personal upbringing, what inspired them to study this particular course. Sometimes some people will tell about a particular event in their life that happened that influence them to like this course that they are doing now. Sometimes some people even build a story around their undergraduate research. If it is connected to whatever you want to do now, you build a story around your undergraduate research, or maybe something that, maybe your research ability, your research experience or teaching experience. You just build a story around that to show that this is unique, this is about you. So that when they are reading someone says, then this story is not replicated in another one. Okay, so the first paragraph tells your story, gives us a background of who you are and what influence your decision or your interest in that particular field of study in that school, and nothing but that. Now, the second paragraph, this is where you tell us about the research that you want to do, or you are planning to do. Please be specific, and you have to use vocabularies that are very specific about that research. About that field of study. Don't just use words from nowhere. You want to see, because experts in your field will read your statement of purpose. So if you are not using the correct, the right vocabularies in that field, they will know that maybe you are just shopping from anywhere. So they want to see that, yes, this person is actually someone that is well versed in this. So here you build your interest in a particular field that you have chosen. Sometimes people will talk about their proposed research topic. Here, actually, they don't expect that you know a lot. And you are not supposed to be saying, I have my topic now. No, nobody's expecting you to have a topic by now. They don't even expect you to have every idea that you want to do. Okay, but you just have to let us know that this is exactly what I want to do. Okay, by being very specific, and I will say very specific. Then here also, you may also want to introduce, okay, let me mention this, that whatever story they are telling in that second paragraph, whatever research interest that you want to claim that you have, if it does not align with those of the faculty members, it is a no-no. So that means sometimes your research interest is not even the most important, but the research interest of those faculty members that you have researched, that you have checked online before, because it must align. You must have a supervisor before they can give you admission. Okay? But you don't have to indicate that I want somebody to be my supervisor. No. You just let us know that you are interested in the research of so person, because this is what you also do. Okay? Whether for master's or PhD, you still have to show something like this, that you are interested in the research of this person, or you have, just something like that. You don't have to say, I want somebody to supervise me. No, that is not necessary. Okay, except for those who are going to a particular lab, they are applying to a particular lab, like physics people, chemistry people. Yes, you are free to do that. You are free to let us know that this is the person that, because most time those professors are the one that fund, they fund your GRE or GTAs. Okay, but for conventional people, for those who are coming to the graduate school for GTAs, we are not expecting you to indicate the exact professor that you want them to supervise you. So that second paragraph tells about your research, okay, your research interest and how it aligns with someone in the department. So the third paragraph is about your, let me say, your background in research and teaching now. Okay, your interest in research and teaching. What have you done? What have you done in the past? This is where you can also tell us more about your writing sample, previous studies you have done, people you have worked with. Here, if you can also mention some, maybe your professors that are going to write your statement, your recommendation letter. You can mention them, that you have worked with this person, you have done this and this, to show that you can, this is you. Okay, don't forget the focus for that third paragraph should be your research ability and your teaching ability. And now schools will expect you to also indicate that you want to teach. Okay, you have to show your interest in that, as in you are excited to teach. And let me say, I learned my lesson from this, because I applied to a school and I was put on a wait list first year. Second year, they put me on wait list again. I said, what is happening? Then we have a guru in the house that will always insist that let's ask them. Let's ask questions. And we ask questions. And from there, the information I'm giving to you now, we got that information from there. That you have to let us know that you want to teach courses, because that's the only way they fund graduate students. So this is very important, as you indicate that, yes, I've taught courses in the past, and I've also started to teach courses in your school, okay? Because that is where you get your funding. So that is basically what your third paragraph talks about your research ability and your teaching ability, okay? Then the last paragraph is your future goals. That is, what is your goal? What do you aim to achieve in the future? What are your future plans? You want to see what, if you want to japa, then please, just like they said, that is not something to be proud of. Okay? So what are your future plans? What are your future goals? Then you can just let us know here. So this is basically the structure of your SOP. Now, how does it connect to your recommendation? I remember Dr. Adebayo was talking about the recommendation letter at that time, telling you what to include and what not to include. Well, let me say, some of us are privileged to be in the writing system, that as in we study English, so we're able to have mentors that taught us how to write, how to do this and some other things, but not in all cases. That is where you need to build relationship, good relationship, I mean. If you have good relationship with your professors, those who are going to be your referee, then it is advisable that you draft your recommendation letters. Okay, if you have good relationship with them, you can draft and send to them that this is what I feel I want you to write for me. Okay, now it is the onus is on them to now edit and do whatever they like with them. It depends on the kind of person you are choosing for your recommenders, rather. Okay, now if you do not have that kind of opportunities to have such relationship with your professors, then I would advise that when you are asking them to to be a recommender, you have to include 2 very vital documents. And number 1 is your CV. Then number 2 is to let them know the role that you want them to play. One, you need 3 recommendations. One of those 3, one of them must be somebody that can attest to your research ability, probably your former supervisor, or somebody that you have worked with as a research assistant. It is very important that this person will emphasize your research ability, that this person has done research with me, has done this and that. Okay? Then the other person must be someone that can attest to your teaching ability. Okay? You can vary like that and say, okay, I've presented you as my mentor. I presented this person as my professor. As my academic advisor. Because they will ask them some of those things, that who is this person to you? So give them those information that, okay, I want you to be my I want you to act like my supervisor, so that the recommender can speak to that. Because you need all of these things must tie together. They want to see those stories coming together before they can say, okay, this is an application. Okay, so it is very important that you pay attention to some of these things. Then the third person could be maybe someone in your workplace or anything, as in someone that can also just talk about your moral ability, your steadfastness, or some other things about you, about your person. So this could be anything. I'm not saying that those who are going to be your supervisor or something can also not talk about this, but let that be focused, that, okay, this person is talking about my research, the other person is talking about my teaching ability, and some stuff like that. So to end this conversation, I want to emphasize that for your statement of purpose, we want you to use concrete examples. That is, examples that are personalized, that are about you. Things that can show that this is different from another person. Don't just use a general knowledge. Use something that is peculiar about you. Okay? Then use, mention courses that you have taught in the past, professors or mentors that you know, that can attest to your ability. These things show that, yes, this is about you. Okay? Because this is the only story, this is the only opportunity for you to tell your story. And that is where most admissions are decided. It is from your statement of purpose. Okay? So I'm going to wait for other questions about statement of purpose, and now it must be connected to your recommendations later. I don't want to take much of our time. So I think some of these things, these are things that we all know, so I don't want to talk about much about formal language. At this level, I think we have so many tools online now that you can use to check your grammatical errors and stuff. There should not be one. Yeah, there should not be one. And then I mean, worded expressions are also not expected from you. So you have so many tools online that you can use to like review your work. But when it comes to organization of the ideas, then you need reviewers. You need people that knows about this that can help you to just like review it. Don't say because I'm specialist, then I can write this and submit. There might be error that you may not even notice. So that is why you need other people to like help you look at it and give you advice. So I want to stop here. Okay. Yeah, I think, okay. Yeah, I think I've mentioned this at the beginning, that this is not something you write within a week or two.
Yeah.
Some people write for 3 to 4 months. That's why they give you 6 months for the application. Thank you, Dr. Adebayo.
Thank you so much, sir. Let's appreciate Dr. Adegbenro, please, our digital class and everything. Please, let's appreciate him. That was a great one. You can see how gentle he is. You can see how he was dishing out tactically. You know, when you deal with language people, you just have to be careful. You can see how gentle he is indeed. Thank you, Dr. Adegbenro. Thank you so much. I remember the day when he got to the US, and I went to meet him at the train station. He was to pass through my CV to where Dr. Akiola lives, and he sat there quietly. I said, but you're gentle. But he's already used to cold now. Yes. Because he was shivering that day. He said the weather was cold. I said, the weather hasn't started at all. So thank you, Dr. Adegbenro. And I have a mentee that will be linking up with you. Let me make this open now, because my girl wants to major in rhetoric, and when she said that, I said, I have a scholar, I have a specialist. So Bamishe will be reaching out to you. Bamishe, are you there? She's not there. So I'd already done my own. No, I've connected you to somebody that, because by the time you begin to mention those big grammars, I might not understand.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you are there. Oh, good. So don't worry, I will give you his contact so that he will be the one to review your essay. I don't know anything in that area. He's a specialist. Thank you, Dr. Adegbenro. So I think I think with this now. Oh, Bamisha, you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, sir. I just want to indicate that I'm here, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
There is somebody raising it.
Yes. Yeah. Ofodom John
Bosco.
Yeah, good evening.
I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your name very well. Ofodom Bosco Chukunazom.
Ofodom John Bosco Chukunazom.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. My question is kind of prior to regarding the writing sample. I don't know if it's okay. I should ask the question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I really want to thank the organizers for this amazing webinar session. And going to the question, you mentioned something about co-authors, and I was trying to make a question in the chat. Like, what if the research is actually my work, but including the names of my supervisor, my mentor, on my research work due to for it to reach a wider research audience? Am I to use that as a writing sample?
Yeah.
Thank you very
much.
Well, I would still insist that you cannot use that. In fact, that is even worse than even having a co-author that is a student.
Yeah.
I understand what you are going through. Most times when you write your thesis, your project, whatever, your advisor or supervisor says, oh, I want to co-author with you. And in fact, in most cases, they want to be the first author. Well, it's a tradition that is in our Obodo Naija. We don't know. I won't say more than that. But doing that is just like you are now standing on the shoulder of someone, you know, to then say, this is my work. It is not your work. What I have suggested is that you can write something similar, but you must be wary of plagiarism. You know, if you you can write a paper, a brand new paper, it may be similar to what you've written, but it must be well referenced if you are referencing that paper that you have co-authored with your advisor. It must be something different. The only time you can use your own publication for writing sample, as far as we know, is your own authored work. In fact, in my case, I use it because it was similar to what they do in my department, you know. So, but that's not my area of research today. So, and I think that was what Mr. John was saying earlier.
Yeah, let me quickly take this question before I can see another hand up. I'm coming there. This person said, oh, I think she asked 2 questions, but let me quickly read the, okay. He said, please, I think I've answered your question. Yeah, I've answered your first question. I just got married and I'm planning to continue my PhD abroad. How do I get my spouse? You don't have problem. You can see ring in Dr. Akeola's hand. He's showing off. And almost, there are many people here. We are all married. So that's not a problem. Yeah. And I see, the first thing is, and I like your mind for considering your spouse and your family, but the first step to making that dream come true is what we're talking about here. I think at this level, probably all you need to do is when you are filling your form and at your demographic information, you just include your marital status should be married. So at this level, you don't have anything to do more than that because everything is still about you. In fact, there are people that, as at the time they were applying, they were single. But towards the time that they were going to the embassy for their visas, they were married. And today they are in the United States with us, with their family. So that's not a problem. And I think that's a straightforward response. She also said that I had a HND background, though I did a postgraduate diploma before my master's. Can I still go ahead with my application? Oh, yeah, perfect. You already have a master's. Look at it, though. This person had HND, did postgraduate diploma, then eventually did master's. Package everything together. Get transcripts for everything. Now, one of the major things for your master's is, except in few cases, we have people that with their first degree straight, they start PhD in the United States. Yeah, we have some people like that. And unfortunately, we were unable to cover that aspect. If you are a first-class person here, you can go for your PhD straight if it is applicable in your discipline. But I'm aware in my course, in my discipline, I've seen people go from first degree straight for PhD with their first class. In most science, especially in chemistry, those ones I know very, very well. So like Dr. Akeola did mention during his keynote, see, the first thing is reach out to that department directly because most of these issues are dealt with on individual basis. You may be shocked. In fact, this year now, we've seen different variants or differences in the content we see on I-20 documents when students want to go to the embassy to get their visas. You know, so we continue to see new things coming up and institutions are not the same. Their mode of operations are not the same. So you may want to reach out to your school. And that's why we were saying the other time, identify your interest, identify your school. Which school do I want to go to? Then you reach out to them, discuss your peculiarity with, and that's why we are bringing this webinar earlier than we did last year, so that it gives you time to reach out to your school to discuss your peculiarity. You know, you don't want to get to the stage whereby you will have paid $75, $65, $50 application fee. Then at the end of the day, you got rejected. It can be very, very disturbing. Like with the exchange rate in Nigeria now, it takes a lot to raise $50. That's a lot of money. Because $50 should be like, Saturday should be like 75K. You know? So you don't want to do that. You just want to find out. Reach out to your school. And if there is number one assignment for all of us today, identify your schools. The schools you think you want to go, identify that school. And I think I sent a document on the platform the other day that served as a guide. That was the same document Dr. Kela gave me the other time, and I found it so useful. Though not all the programs and universities are included in that document, but it's a very good start. A very, very good start. Identify your school. And again, it is one thing for you to identify your school. And when I may identify your school, there are two ways. And I can use UI as an example because it's a perfect one of what we're talking about. Graduate school will have a particular requirement. The department that you are going, will have another requirement. So you want to see what is the requirement stated by the graduate school of the university you are trying to to attend, and what is the departmental requirement. Sometimes graduate school will have a deadline, department will have a deadline. So these are things that you want to know. Identify your school, the school you want to go, reach out to the department, table your case, tell them what you want to do. And you have seen this work over and over. Reaching out to the department is one of the surest ways of not making mistakes, at least. So, Mr. Ilesanmi Ajibola, please, you have the floor to ask your questions.
Good evening. I'm not sure if you can hear me. Hello, good evening.
Okay, I think I can see your question. Those of you that joined late, if you can have access to the recording. Yeah, Dr. Adebolo already sent it. Yeah. The link, the YouTube link.
Can you hear me? I also have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, for me, I tried applying sometime last year, and I'm sure you are also aware. You asked me recently about the application, and I don't even know what to say or how to reply you again because I got stuck, I got frustrated with the process, and I knew I wasn't doing some things right. I was able to get application fee waiver from 2 different institutions. Hello, Jeremy. I'm Simon from Northwestern University. 2 different waivers. And I know that that's quite, it's quite an opportunity that I knew I missed out on. Okay, but I just thought I can go back, bounce back again, and then reapply once the schools are open again and all that. I think my major question is what exactly?
Mr. Ilesanmi, sorry, I had to mute you because we can hardly hear what you are saying. I would say maybe you should leave where you are so that we can hear you clearly, or you send a message to ask your question. I'm so sorry because we are recording this.
Yeah.
Very long recording on YouTube and nobody could hear what they're saying.
Yeah. And I want to quickly say something because of that, what Mr. Ilesanmi said now. Okay. That I said something the other time that you should not be afraid to ask questions. There are some schools that will say you have to pay $100 or $150 for an application fee. My brother, if you write to the school, they can waive it for you. Don't be afraid to write to all these graduate schools and ask for fee waiver. They will give to you. Okay, it depends on what your story is different from any other person. Mm-hmm. And don't believe that because they insisted that you must pay, then like for me, I don't have money. So I was just sending those messages to like 11 or 12 schools. And I got like 4 that gave me application fee waiver, even though they were collecting $100 from people. And I did not pay. Even my school does not waive application fee, but my department waived it for me. because I write to them. I told them that I don't have the money, and they gave it. So do not be afraid to ask. Thank you.
Now, thank you about that, and it's a very good one. Mr. Ilesomi was trying to share his story, and well, he knows that I might not be too pleased, and I like the fact that he confessed. You know what that means, to reach out to school, and two schools waived application fees for you, and he couldn't pursue it. He couldn't follow through. You know. And let me say this, sir, Amma. I know we are very, very busy in Nigeria. Honestly, everybody is busy. Everybody is struggling to... We understand how it is. But I tell us, you can imagine now, this is more than 2 hours already of our data, of our time, of our life. What would not be the essence of spending this time if we are not going to work and see this investment of time and resources go through? And we have seen this almost every year. Only few people will go through this process successfully. And, you know, if a university, you reached out to them and they waived for you, maybe since then till now, maybe he hasn't reached back to them or gotten back to them. So what story do you now want to tell them now? You know, and so we just want to be careful that we don't take the patience and the simplicity of the donors for granted. So wherever we start, let's follow through.
Okay, so our time is fast spent, and then we don't want to extend this beyond the next 30 minutes. So we want to we want to allow Grace Tolu Ade something to ask a question. Then we'll open the breakout room. We have 3 rooms. You can join anybody from the 3 of us. I'm going to open it as our asking question. I mean, as we are allowed Grace Tolu to ask a question. You don't have to join any room if you don't have any questions.
Sorry, Dr. Golema, sorry. Somebody was saying that requesting for application fee waiver can reduce your chances of admission. It's a lie.
That's not true.
It is a lie. Don't ever believe it, though. It's a lie. Please, go ahead, sir.
Okay, so we are going to open the room after taking the question from Grace Tolu Adebayo. Yeah. So please go ahead with your question.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you for the time, and thank you for at least I've been reaching out to you privately and you've been responding. My question goes thus. Number one, this issue of GRE. My program, most of the time when you go to some departmental pages of some schools that I've marked out, they would request for GRE. Sometimes when you contact even people you know there privately, they will tell you have to do GRE, otherwise they would not consider the admission. And that's the number one question. So this issue of GRE is there, because I think last year when I was trying to process, I wrote some insisted that is part of the admission procedure and they don't waive it. And it gives you gives one a better chance of getting admission. Then the second part is on when you were talking about the SOP, you were talking about I think the 4th paragraph where you were talking about the teaching, that you must mention your teaching and research part. Now, although I've written mine before, but I didn't include the teaching part, and I thank you for at least opening with that. But as regards the research part, how specific, because you were saying we should at least maybe narrow it to Nigeria, but not saying the topic. So what level of this specificity should we go in that regard? Thank you very much.
I will want Ademiro to respond, but I want to quickly say something. For the fact that you are not choosing a research topic does not mean you should not have a research in your mind. For example, when you are checking these universities and their website or your department, you must see somebody whose research interests you. All right? You can say that you are interested in researching. You can just mention a simple topic, but that does not mean that is what you are going to do. Similar to the simple topic may be similar to what that professor is doing, but it's just to show that, okay, if they give you admission, because I don't want to use we, if they give you admission, it means that there is somebody who can supervise you, like we use in Nigeria, or advise you, or be your supervisor or advisor, in that department. If what we are trying to propose is not a proposal now, what you are mentioning, we cannot see somebody that can be your mentor in that department, your chances of getting admission may be lower. Maybe you may be lucky that they just find something else in you and they feel, okay, let's bring you in. But it's very important that you identify somebody whose research you are interested in, and then you're able to coin something of your own in that person's area. But I will always say that don't just limit it to one person. If you have 2-3 persons that share similar research in that department, it may increase, I use the word may, it may increase your chances, because if A is not taking you, B is likely taking you. And in most cases, I'm sure of this one, when you apply for admission, they send whatever you said you want to do, they send it to some of these faculty to say, will you be interested? And once you find somebody who is interested in your profile, you have a very high chance. That happens to my friend, Dr. Sunday. He has a PhD, he's doing another one here, so he has that experience. The man told him, I read your CV, and I also had that experience. The person who read mine has left my university now. It's not my advisor, but because he showed interest, it helped my chances. All right, thank you. So Sunday, you want to talk about something else here?
Sorry, I was responding to somebody in the chat, so I didn't quite listen to what he was saying. I'm sorry about that.
But did we answer your question, Mr. Tolu?
I think we've answered all questions now. I don't think we have.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Afolabi Daniel.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. The previous person that asked, you actually did not answer about the GRA that you mentioned.
Okay. So yeah, I know something was missing. The GRA is a standard. If you have a school that has a standardized test, they are not going to waive it for you.
Yes.
Because it is the requirement. It's just like before we open our gate, the big gate, you must have this. It does not mean you passing or not passing it is why they will give you admission. You just must fulfill that criteria first, or criterion. I have a friend who is in the UK now, who's one of the schools that offered him admission. He did not even meet the kind of scores that they expected for the GRE, but he did it. And there was no way they could have waived it for him, because that is the standard from the graduate school. So if you cannot do it, then you have to go to schools where that is not a requirement. If they are asking for TOEFL, they will not waive it for you if that is a standard, whether you are from an English-speaking country or not. But there are some schools that they waive it for English-speaking countries. Nigeria is included. All right, so in that case, it is waived for you. And there are some schools, even in my school, they do GRE in some department, they don't do it in some other department. So if you know that what you are doing is, if you want to go to that department and you cannot pass GRE, you can just forget about it. But if you are able to do GRE and TOEFL, then you are a universal applicant, because you can apply to any school. Because those are the things that may deny you from applying to some of those schools, including those top ranked schools or high-standing schools like Harvard and all that.
Okay, I want to quickly add to that. This is just from my own personal experience, okay? That if you don't write some of these exams, it limits the number of schools that you can apply to. But the truth is that we have over 1,000 schools in the US.
Over 5,000 schools.
So if a school is asking,
go on.
For instance, there was a school that was asking for West, and I didn't want to do West. So I just skipped those ones, look for those that will meet their requirements. So there was one that I've applied to, and they insisted that I must submit to West. So I lied. I told them that my West was on the way, that they should just continue to process the admission before they conclude that I will get it. They gave me the admission because I do not have West, and thank God I got admission on that school. I just told them, okay, I don't need it again. Okay, so because some of these things, you have so many, you have options. You can just, if you do not meet their requirement, you can just go for another one. For somebody in house, I would never advise you to go and write GRE. Okay, so if a school is demanding for GRE, then I'm not coming to your school. I will go to somewhere else. For those in sciences, then it is the best way to put you in a good stead if you are for competition. Okay, then for IS and TOEFL, I will always advise people to go and do it, though it is not required. It is just for you to be competitive. It is simple as that. Yes, it is just for you to be competitive. So that's just.
Thank you so much. Before we go, now I don't think there are other questions again, Dr. Akinola. Do we need a breakout session? But before we go, please, I want to find out if Mr. Sheun is on this call. Mr. Sheun, are you on this call? I'm trying to find out there is one Oluseun Fadeyi, but I just wanted to be sure if that is the same Mr. Sheun from Mr. Omowumi in Peoria, Illinois, United States here. Okay. I just wanted to find out because he told me that somebody that's okay. Dr. Akinola?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Let's get to the
Hello, Mr. Sheun.
I am on, sir. I've been on.
Oh, great.
I've been on from the beginning. I actually parked by the wayside because I went out and traffic held me down.
You didn't park at the wayside.
Let's get to the.
So, and incidentally, I want to appreciate everyone for this gesture. I really appreciate it because most of my questions, I know last time you were aware of everything. I was kind of down when I thought the admission would go through, and since it didn't work out, I felt bad, but I had to pick up my pieces and let's try more. Since you told us last time that we had the webinar that some of you tried before God. So I'm holding on to that.
Yeah.
But some of the questions I have actually been answered.
Oh, good.
Most of the, especially Dr. Akinola and Dr. Sunday. So that's why I'm just listening, and I've seen some of the mistakes of the past that I need to go and work on.
I like that.
But the only question I feel I wanted to ask was actually answered by Dr. Sunday just a while ago.
Oh,
that
good.
I feel some schools, I just feel that if you could help us to check to give us some of these schools that they might not be well known, but at least they can offer us something. And I know in terms of competition, because some of us, we are not a way like that can also have a way out of the old team. So I've been online. I like to listen, and I've been getting what I actually needed because I have seen some of my mistakes in the past. I need to go and adjust and correct now. So I'm online. So if you can help us on that, if you can help us on some of these schools that we don't need to, like last time, I worked on 3 schools.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I was unable to submit on 2, and they will be requesting for you to submit your proof of fund, and I was like, am I making mistake? And I got to you sometime that what's actually going on. So until I was able to get through on one, and when they asked me to pay, you were kind of saying you were skeptical that this and that.
I was.
So I remember that. So and that's why I feel that if you start early, then, like you said, and I want to be positive and be praying too that things will even you can know the magnitude of
don't worry, Mr. Sheun. Let's just do it this way. And I remember Dr. Akinola was like, this time around, we have to do this early. Let me tell you, and that's why I was talking about priority deadline the other time. You see, don't worry, we will talk about this, and we will talk about this. I remember when my first rejection came, he told me, he said, is their loss. You know, in my head, I'll be like this, Dr. Akiola. It be like say the way they reason is his own reasoning is not conventional. It's not a normal. He said it's their loss. Is it not my loss? But he said it's their loss, you know. And I got 2 rejections. He said it's their loss. And now I got the 3rd one, and I'm excited. So, and that's one of the reasons. Let me tell you, I like the statement you made that you've learned some of the mistakes you made. In my own case, one of the mistakes I made was that the area, see, my essay that I wrote, and again, let me quickly say this. If you are targeting 3 schools, you may want to look at your SOP again. How does it align with what they are doing in each of the schools?
Yes,
If you
I've sent
submit
them.
the same SOP to schools that have different focus, if you die on the mountain, nothing will happen, sir. So, sir, ma.
Yeah, you're right.
The mistake I made was I sent the same essay to the same schools. And the area I was proposing that I was saying this is what I want to do, they don't have faculty members. That's not their area of research. So at the end of the day, I will have nobody to advise me, to be my supervisor. So these are some of the, so we keep learning. Are you getting the point? So, and I will just say that you are not the only one who has been down by rejection. I was still chatting with one of my good friends yesterday night. We started all this together. It can be very disturbing, my brother. But see, one door, we just make you to forget everything. So you can't give up. Don't worry, we will talk after now, and we see how we move from here by God's grace. Dr. Yola, do we still need this breakout session again today?
So, but because we mentioned it earlier, so let's just spend 5 minutes there.
Okay.
You can be in the main room, or let all of us be in the room so that anybody wants to talk to anyone in 5 minutes, then we'll come back.
Okay, let's do that for 5 minutes, then we come back.
If you want to ask personal questions.
Up now, you can just click and join whichever person you want to join. You must have seen that stuff popping up on your screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you can't do it, you can talk, then we can put you to wherever you want. But you don't have to join anyone. If nobody joins my group, I'll stay here. I can still want 2 persons, 2 in Adigbero. Mr. Adebayo, maybe you will be in the main room if no one joins your group, your room. And if you don't join any, it means that you just want to be here. Join breakout room, ask for help. Okay.
Good evening, sir. I don't know if it's fine now, sir. I was saying something the other time before the audio issue and all that. I don't know if it's fine now, if you can hear me clearly now.
Can you join the room and ask your question?
Okay. No, I belong to a group already. One of the chat groups of
It's not a group now. We are talking about room. Zoom room.
The breakout room.
Breakout room. And I'm going to
pause
live recording now. So when we round up, we'll complete it. So
So where am I now?
Okay. Let me check.
Okay.
So we want to round up the meeting. So we'll just wait for the host to join us, and then we can call it a day, and then.
Hello, Dr. Kiran. I wanted to just ask if you are active on LinkedIn, so I could also follow you on LinkedIn.
I am, but to be active on social media in the US is a difficult thing, any social media at all. So if you drop your message when I'm going through it, I can look at it. Sometimes we set dates once in a while to do some of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I'm very sorry, Doctor, sir. I'm very sorry.
Oh, you couldn't talk.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I was trying to do one or two things. That's why, sir.
Okay.
Okay, now my questions, I have some questions here. Now, one of the questions I have is that now I checked since the beginning of the discussion, I think we only focus on people from Faculty of Arts and Faculty of Science. What about people from Faculty of those medical students?
Those
That's your number one.
Those what?
Medical students, sir. Medical students, sir.
Please give me your name.
My name is Adebayo Ezekiel Oluwatobiloba, sir.
Oh, that's long. Adebayo.
So that one. Another thing is now, aside first class and second class upper students, so anybody below that point, is there any chances for them? That's
So
another question. Now
I have two. This Adebayo had 2-1. Adebayo, I don't know what he had. Maybe first class, because those ones are a giveaway.
Now another question is that you
let's take your question one by one.
Can you hear me, sir?
Want to round off.
Okay. The last question is, you said there's someone that asked about you want to process for PhD, and you said you can just go for that PhD so that you have access to this full funded scholarship. So is that any means that does that mean anybody going for masters cannot have fully funded scholarships, sir? That's my last question.
I'll start with your last question. Number one, I'm not a vice chancellor. They call them presidents here. I'm not an administrator. I don't own a school here. I'm just also a student, at least at this point, though I had a previous PhD in Nigeria and all that. So, but your question, does that mean anybody who is giving such answer of a yes or no is not telling you a truth? There are some departments that are quite easy for master students to even get funding, and there are some that are quite difficult. But generally, PhD students have more opportunities to funding than masters. Most people, even in my university, in fact, it's surprising that my department gave full funding to 2 students, one last year, one this year, and they are master students. One is the last year one is from Ghana, the other one this year is a Nigerian. So,
Dr. Akiola,
yes. So
sorry, I don't want you to waste your time too much. I will hand over that boy to you.
Who? The person who spoke to me now?
You don't know?
Well, we will talk about that. He's a big man. No?
I will hand him over to you so that we can release people to go.
Well, and we have 27 people left, truly. So let's just round off. We will talk about that in this thing. But just, I think I wanted to answer that question so that there is no misinformation.
Okay.
For the fact that you are applying for a master does not mean you cannot get funding. You can get fully funded opportunity. But the chances are there much better for PhD students in general, because the PhD student, they are spending longer years. All right. Master, within 1.5 years, you are done and you want to go back to your country or you want to go and work. So you are not bringing long-term value to the university. So they don't want to spend most of their time focusing on you. So those people, they can have for 4 or 5 years, So I think that's settles it. So I think we shouldn't take more questions now.
Dr. Akiola, I said I was going to hand him over to you. That is Toby.
Sorry, Dr. Adebayo.
I'm coming,
Dr. Adebayo.
And I'm saying this openly. Tabati Bieda, woman a good grade. We have stopped recording.
Dr. Adebayo,
Are we
please, I
still
want to ask a
recording?
question.
Yes, because I'm not.
They know you can't even try it. You must. It's a must. That's my brother.
Adegbero, over to you.
Yeah, Dr. Adegbero, go ahead.
Please, I wanted to ask Dr. Adebayo.
Why are you harassing my boy like that?
We'll remove him now.
Thank you, sir.
Now
all right,
it's okay.
People are asking for WhatsApp group. Is that a WhatsApp link?
There is, but Mr. Adebayo is the admin and then the power that the
No, we have many admins. So I've sent it.
I don't know. I just joined the group too, maybe last week.
You didn't just join, you just rejoined.
Okay, I'm rejoined. I just rejoined.
Okay. Yeah, so that they can ask the questions in the group.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
But
So
please let me also say this. If you ask your question, it doesn't mean we'll respond immediately. It's not out of pride though, but we'll respond. Because if I show you my environment here, you will pity me. When I'm not Yahoo, look at it. So that is how we work. It's so tough. All right. It's like when America gives you something, they want you to really do it, and you will do it to the best of your energy and your ability. So it's been a good time. So over to our host so that it can get us.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everybody. Our big daddy just give me K online. Say I was harassing his boy. Thank you so much. And it's a good thing that he joined today. So Toby, you did well today. If you don't do well, I will say. So thank you. I was just joking. And Uncle Samson, thank you so much. All our facilitators, thank you so much. And this is a good one. I think it is worth your time. Maybe. And like I said, if there is anything you also think, please, the best thing is for you to go ahead and work with the information you have at hand. If you acquired all this information and you didn't do anything with it, nothing will happen. So please, let's go ahead. The recordings will be made available, Mr. Ilesome. Don't worry, I promise you that. And I think on this note, we just want to appreciate everybody for joining. It's been a wonderful 3 hours, 3 hours, 10 minutes now. Wow. And we look forward to celebrating the success of all of us. And by the grace of God, God will make it happen by his grace. So if there is any other thing to say, so we can leave at any time. You can put on your video, your audio. So
you can post for a group photograph if you want.
Oh, great. That's not a bad thing.
So I'm going to stop the recording now. Thank you, everyone who has joined. We thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
But on Sunday.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Stop. Okay, stop recording online. I think I have stopped that one too. Okay, the other time I stopped used the recording on Zoom, but the online was going on. Okay, let's do our group this before people run away. You can put on your video. We have very few that are left. I think we are just 17.
Oh my God.
I'm in the dark.
Adegbero, you want to run away? Put on your video. Say shmai to Sheffy.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
I'll send you the picture. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
But if you want to ask questions,
Thank you. It's been a wonderful meeting.
1 minute, 2 minutes. John Adebayo.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where is Mr. Ogunbanjo? Don't go, Mr. Ogunbanjo.
Is he still online?
He's here.
Oh, great.
He said, you are Mr. Ogunbanjo, are you there?
I'm there, sir.
When others have left, just wait. Let us quickly settle what you are trying to say. But I'm sure no one has anything against you, you know.
I just like I
Dr.
have to talk to
What's it true, Danny?
Dr. John. I just want to use this opportunity to just say I'm very sorry in every area I've offended you. You know, I've said this several times, and anytime I send something to you, you know, I've been following you, looking your paper, then doing one or two things for myself on ResearchGate and the rest. And anytime I refer to you, even when you see fair, we always refer to you that, okay, this and that and that. And immediately I finished my master's, you know, I communicated with you that I am true. Although I've already finished the program since about 2 years ago. And
sorry, Doctor. Sorry, Mr. Today. Olaniyi Oladeji, please, do you have questions or observations or clarifications to make? Hello, sir. Mr. Olaniyi. Okay, good. Yeah?
I thought phone wọn kàn lọ wọn ní sí ní meeting yẹn.
Yeah, ó ti lọ.
Mo ti yọ wọn kò lọ.
Oh, ẹ yọ wọn ni?
Kò sí kan tó wá mọ̀.
Okay.
So thank you, sir. I just want to use this opportunity to just say, Dr.